I swear, chat, the packed forces are trying to take out the stream in general. All this damage to the Sunrider, it's affecting the stream. But not even that means anything next to my comrades in arms. I'll kill all of you to protect them. Ammo depleted. Because said he hit the thrusters on the Havoc. What a bunch of idiots. They really think I was going to stick my neck out for them? I think I'll just slip out of here while everyone's too busy trying to kill each other. I might have blown up my fleet, but I can still rebuild. They haven't seen the last of Cassetti Cosmos, the terror of the stars. 70 to target. She's barely holding together, Captain. Just a few more shots and we'll... Suddenly, everyone was in midair as the hull around the bridge bent. Steel beams rained down, skewering the bridge crew. The Sunrider howled as a chunk of its mouth tore off and sliced through its observation tower. Shields wiped his blood from his face and picked himself up. Damage report! Direct hit on our nose. Vanguard cannon has been completely destroyed, along with our forward savior turrets. Our shields are down, and all contact has been lost with the hangar. We've expended all our missiles and torpedoes. We have. There's enough power remaining for 2 more shots of the Trinities. Captain, the Sunrider is lost, Commander. All hands, abandon ship. I'm putting you in charge of the evacuation, Commander. Get everyone out of here and keep them safe. Captain, my place is on the bridge. That wasn't a request. I'm ordering you to abandon ship. Sir. Everyone, you're all relieved of your duties. Get out of here. The surviving crew saluted. All hands, follow me to the escape pods. You've gritted your teeth and led the crew out of the bridge. Kyoto, it was an honor, Commander. Captain. The commander ran to the bridge and checked if any crew remained inside. All the cells were powered down. Prototype L7N. So she's escaped. No time to worry about that. I need to get everyone out of here. Eva pushed the last of the crew into the escape pod. Everyone accounted for. She checked off the last names of her crew list and leaped in the escape pod just moments before the hallway collapsed. Get us out of here, pilot. Sir! The pod jettisoned from the Sunrider. Kyoto. I at least wanted to finally say. Captain, we just detect enemy escape pods. Shall we take them prisoner? No, I have orders from above. We are not to take prisoners. Prepare to fire on my mark. Understood. All hands. This is Captain Kyoto Shields of the assault carrier Sunrider, last surviving vessel of the Sirius Space Force. We traveled stars, finding allies all across the galaxy, with the hope of liberating our homeworld. It was a long journey, filled with adventure. At times we felt sorrow. At times we celebrated our triumphs. Throughout, we were hopelessly outnumbered. Our mission was nothing but a long-shot gamble against impossible odds. Finally, we're here, at our home's doorstep. Let it be remembered, on this day we did not abandon Syria to fend for herself. Today, the Sunrider stood our ground. We did not run, but protected all those we held dear until we fell into the black night. We did not falter in our defense of our family. Today, we perished to save our home. Yes, this time, I won't let her down. Kyoto, the Sunrider, as our final act, will save everyone. Maria, I'm coming home. Sir, new contacts coming in hot. What? It's... Multiple enemies detected. Providing assistance. Blackjack, coming in! It's the Seraphim and the Blackjack. We heard what happened on the Hollow and came back as soon as we could. We'll lead the bogies away. Protect the lifeboats. Paladin, reload your munitions with my spare rifle. We've got some ass kicking to do. Ammo restored. Seriously? I knew all along you guys had come back to save us. I definitely wasn't worried at all. Besides, it would have sucked if everything just ended like that. Like that would ever happen to us. Now let's go get some payback. The Pack Fleet's starting to organize a counteroffensive against the Alliance. It looks like we're right in the middle of the crossfire. Even with 2 more riders, we can't take on everyone ourselves. Oh, for crying out, I'm sure the captain's figured something out. We just gotta hang out loud a bit longer. If it's him, he can definitely... Oh, come on, Captain, do something! Swung Ikaru's calm cracked into life. Our final act. Save everyone. It's the Sunrider. Captain? Oh, he's gonna... Captain! Alpha sat on an elegant curved wooden chassis. Before her was a round table with an enormous assortment of tea sets. Everything floated in white space, neither upright, sideways, or downwards. This was dimensional space between space. Time flowed infinitely, forwards, backwards, and it was all simultaneously everywhere and nowhere. News of Liberation Day massacre had reached her. My sister has failed. Instead of unifying humanity, her actions instead sparked a war which will threaten the very existence of the human race. I have been betrayed by my own sister. Alpha's long-awaited guest arrived. Oh, well, don't feel bad. It's hard to say you were the only one who got betrayed, huh? Alpha's thoughts broke and she returned to real space. Wanderer. The air disordered as the space-time continuum parted in front of Alpha. Sparks flew and the wind ruffled Alpha's hair as a figure emerged from a micro-wormhole. And at least you didn't have to be vaporized like poor Claude. You know what explosive decompression does to my skin? I think this woman possesses so much power. No, she just long since ceased to be human. Has become a different entity altogether. Yeah, so Claude's God, by the way. So I don't know how to tell you this, chat. I don't know how to tell you this. Claude's basically a fucking deity. A deity whose only fucking purpose is to dick ride Captain Shields. So, you know. As far as deities go in these games, she could recreate the entire universe right now before me, and yet she chose to gallivant across the galaxy, pursuing nothing but frivolities. Hey, I did what you wanted. First, I led the Sunrider to the Sleeper in the Abyss. It was a piece of cake. All I had to do was play the damsel in distress role, and he was all over me in a flash. Yeah, you should have seen what that brute did to me in the sick bay afterwards. You have to come take me now that I've rescued you, he spoke in a firm voice. Yeah, anything but Claude's chastity. The poor maiden squealed as the captain tore her clothes off and ravished her. Her pleas were futile as the captain thrust his will right into the girl's untouched glory hole. Claude's worldview has changed a little after that day. After I led them to the Abyss, I took care to make sure your little dog could get it on with the captain. It was a real challenge, you know. Claude had to work hard. Claude had to work weekends. And despite the captain's obvious infatuation with me, he was hitched up with Chikagura in no time. After some, fake medical reports and assorted other arrangements. But there was another wrinkle in that plan. Somehow the Queen of Aruvia could sense Chikagura's hyper brainwaves. It must have been maddening for the girl. I'm the only one who knew the entire time that Chikagura was a prototype. Trying to desperately tell everyone what was happening, only to be ignored and dismissed at every turn. Claude's heart truly ached at the sight. But life's not fair. You've performed your mission admirably. But Claude's pretty lost here. So you sent Chikagura to learn about humanity to one day control them in a fight against the Ebon fleet.
Then why the flippin' space whale did Chicago shoot everyone dead at the peace ceremony?
We initially sent C8 to keep watch on the then Ruvian princess. It was your words which foretold the girl's eventual final awakening. An awakening so powerful it will shake the galaxy, and then bring forth the return of the Holy Empire. It was merely happenstance their paths crossed with shields. From there, we sought to understand him, so that we could eventually control him. But my sister hid her true intent from me. While I mustered the prototypes, and she mustered Pact, she was secretly sabotaging my efforts. She hid the true extent of her hatred for humanity from me, and instead attempted to bring about the complete destruction of the human race. At the pivotal moment, she assumed control of C8 through the Mind Stream and brought my plan to ruin.
Ah, so you just wanted to enslave humanity while your sister wanted to destroy it.
Now my sister and C8 battle inside the Mind Stream for control of the other prototypes. And what will emerge from that battle will not be either of them. A new shadow falls upon us. Oh, Tress, you missed it. You've missed so much, but don't worry. We'll be getting a salty... there's the bonus. There's the off-the-record mission. So, Tress, what you missed, Chicago got fucking shot, Claude's secretly God, and also died, but didn't. And I think Shields just killed himself. So, yeah, lots happened in the last, 40 minutes. Chicago's dead, Claude's God, Shields got dick-rode by a fucking literal god. It's been a weird day. A new shadow falls upon us. The Mind Stream is becoming corrupted. C8 shall return, but not as before.
Quite a shocking development. But, next time, please be more gentle with your extractions. A frail girl like Claude just can't stand to be blown up so many times. Looky here, Claude's just here to clean up the temporal disaster. An entire fleet blown from its timeline and dropped into this one? When people and things start moving through time willy-nilly and events get moved around all out of order, it's only a matter of, time until something really bad happens to the entire universe. I thought you prototypes could take care of it, but I guess this is the end of the line now. Honestly, I don't care one way or another about boring things like you prototypes. I'd rather take my chances with the other team now. And this time, Claude will definitely win his heart. There won't be no little C8 unit to interfere anymore.
Shields is dead.
That man wouldn't die so easily.
You will use your powers to change the timeline?
No. Were you listening? I told you, moving events out of order can cause huge headaches. Things stop making sense, and huge gaping plot holes get open. And when a plot hole opens up in space-time continuum, the entire universe just kind of goes, poof. And that's exactly the kind of scenario I'm trying to prevent here. No Shields will live without my intervention.
The Mind Stream. She's already begun to.
Well, on that note, why don't you just join with us too? There's always room on the team for a Gothic Lolita.
I decline.
Oh well, less competition for me. You're welcome to stay here and, do prototype things.
My goal will not change. I will control humanity, regardless of my sister's machinations.
We'll see about that, huh? Not if he has anything to say about it. Well then, see ya.
A pop and a flash, momentarily dazed Alpha as Claude vanished into slipspace. Finally, dead silence returned to the grand cloning chamber. Alpha stood alone. My sister, what have you done?
Captain, are you alright? It's me, Chicago.
Shields groggily opened his eyes. Was he dead?
Kyoto?
Yes, he really had to be dead. After all, there was no way she would... Oi, what are you doing? Shields came to. He felt like the world had collapsed on top of his head. Where was he? The Deck 1 reserve life pod? So he survived after all. Shields pulled himself up against the seat. Why did you save me? I'm as good as dead on the floor of the bridge. Could just use the life pod and escape by yourself.
Why indeed?
Guy's been trying to kill me for the better part of the war, and now you threw away your big chance to get what you want? Something must have happened.
The old voice fades away, replaced by a new
voice. She must be talking about the prototype's hive mind. Could the death of that prototype leader somehow have changed their psyche? Or could it be?
Don't misunderstand. I'm not like that pretty little C8 model which we sent to worm into your heart. I didn't save you because of any desire on my part. Us L7s were made to carry out the will of our leader in combat. Our bodies are identical to the first prototype, the ones the humans came to call Arcadius.
Oof, yeah.
But even she was but a stepping stone to Alpha, the crowning achievement of Diode. In the end, we are called prototypes because we are earlier failed incarnations of Alpha. We constantly hear their voices. They whisper to us, send us instructions, even when we sleep.
It must mean the lesser clones are essentially slaves. Of course, I saw firsthand when they mind-controlled Shikara. And could something have happened to Freeland? You're not getting instructions, are you?
Idiot. The voices will never stop. But there is now a new voice. We are evolving at a pace millions of times faster than you humans. But as to what we are heading, I feel a premonition, a sudden inexplicable urge to go down to the bridge to rescue you. For a short moment I lost control of my body, and had another assume control. I found you floating unconscious on the bridge, all life support systems on board the Sunrider quickly failing. I had but seconds to carry you into a life pod and escape, but fortune was on your side, as the single life pod remained unused on Deck 1. I was able to carry it to you in time. Such episodes where we lose control of our bodies are not uncommon for us prototypes, but this time, to think we would be hijacked by a rogue, it could only mean she's still... It doesn't make any sense. The C8 unit was under our control, sent by us to control you, Chicago. We sought to understand you, to learn what motivated you, so that we could use that knowledge to control you. But for her to break free of the leader's will, she has become an aberration.
She must be telling the truth now.
That means Chicago really was the entire time.
The beeping of the pod's consoles interrupted Shield's thoughts. Wait, then is the funny shipper? Yeah. So Claude's basically a god. Claude is straight up God. I don't know how to explain that. She's just a god. She's literally a dimensional hopping Superman. And even funnier, even better, in another universe where like you're all in high school, she just makes a fan club for Shields for no reason, just cause fuck it, why not? His senses snapped back to him. What happened after the battle? His crew. He panicked. He painfully picked himself up and limped to the pod's console. Its forces are falling back. My gambit worked. Remember the Sunrider into my KVA actual and destroying the tactical paradox core took away the Alliance's trump card. With Gray and the entire chain of command massacred at the ceremony, the flagship destroyed and their secret weapon lost. They had no choice but to retreat. All of that seems moot. I'm about to get captured by Pact. And with Returner pissed off, you can bet he'll stand me up in front of the first wall he can find and shoot me. Ah, the fine grain into the fire, huh? That's not even the worst of my problems. Helping the Ikari and Kurosaka and the crew. Shields gripped the console and scanned for friendly signals. Shit. Ikari, Kurosaka, Ava, anyone. Saga. Hey, I'm gonna break off and go to Sector 994 71 31. What? We just finished tying up all the live pods. Pac's gonna be on top of us in seconds. We got it. It's important. What are you... Hikaru's jaw dropped as the blackjack jetted away. Soldier boy, take the blackjack, share the pods. We gotta get out of here. Understood. Shields wiped the sweat from his brow as a sea of red dots filled the pod's scanner readout. A massive wave of packed ships was headed his way. He desperately put into scanning frequency after frequency, his fingers trembling. No response from any frequency. That could mean everyone was already captured? Or worse, wiped out. No, I have to keep those thoughts from my head. I said I was gonna save everyone. They can't be all. The comm crackled to life.
This is the Blackjack? Is there... Channel.
Shields pounded the transmit button. This is Captain Kyoto Shields. Is that you, Asaga?
Captain? I knew it. I knew you were still alive.
I'm about to receive a real red welcoming party here. Can you get me out of here?
Aye, aye, Captain. Just, hang on to something tight.
What? Captain thunked as the Blackjack shot a magnetic tow cable at the pod while performing a close flyby. Shields all of a sudden realized that Asaga meant to strap himself into a seat. Lynn was less fortunate and was tossed to the rear of the pod as suddenly lurched forward along with the Blackjack. Fool! Hitting afterburners. Let's outrun these guys before they can get shots off at us. The Blackjack finally detached the bridge escape pod from its tow cable. Alright, Captain, we're here. A small cargo transport was waiting for them. The Sunrider's riders clamped onto the transport and made the preparations for warp. The escape pod's gate hissed as the pod docked with the transport's airlock, and the gate rolled open, and Shields emerged.
Captain!
My God, my boy got fucked up bad. I'm less a person, more of a walking corpse at this point. I'm gonna need a band-aid. Asaga lunged at him and gave him the lost embrace that she had desired for so long.
I can't believe I found you like that. I just knew you couldn't have died. I just knew.
My boy needs some milk. He needs some milk. Shields managed to grit a smile. Almost died. But not quite.
Captain, I'll never stop protecting you again. I'll never give you up. I let this happen. I should never have left.
No, Asaga. None of this what happened was your fault. I'm sorry.
Chicago really was a prototype. Can't believe it. She betrayed you. She betrayed everyone. After all that, I can't...
No, she didn't betray me. The other prototype. She used the neural link to control Chicago. In the end, the prototypes are to blame for everything.
Stop it, Captain. Chicago hurt you. After playing with your feelings like that, to turn on you and kill everyone. You're brought into hell. No matter what happens, I'll never forgive her.
Never gonna get over you.
Shit, you moron. I really thought you bit the bullet there. Doing that to me. How the hell am I supposed to watch you die? Didn't you know there are other people who care about you? What the hell are we supposed to do if you're not here anymore? You idiot. Trying to be the hero when you're just an idiot. Don't be the hero, I just want you to be an idiot for now. Yes, it was a grim moment.
Is Soul smiling? She can do that?
I thought all was lost, but the Sunrider had perished, that we had returned too late. Even though I have witnessed the atrocities of my era, none of the sorrows of my past compare to the weight of knowing that you were truly gone. Thanks to you, I feel more at home 2,000 years from my own timeline here, alongside all of you, than I did among the Ruvians. You showed me that I was not a pawn to be sacrificed, that men are not all vile monsters who seek the greed of their hearts. I am relieved that the captain who gave me a home still lives.
Captain, staying aboard the Sunrider during the evacuation procedure was the right decision under military protocol. I'm glad things turned out this way. The crew still needs you. The mission's far from over. Pack still retains control of Sierra, and the massacre of most of the Alliance military leadership will no doubt return the war to their favor. No doubt countless more battles await before you can return to liberate Syria. A leader must not throw away his life so easily. Still have many things left to accomplish. Everyone, sorry to worry you all, but I had to stay aboard the ship. I can still hear the echo of Ava's voice that day. Captain, your order, and the words which came out of my mouth still. I gave the order to abandon Syria to the packed fleet the day of the invasion. I let my sister die before my very eyes. I fled like a coward, unable to even look her killer in the eye. Since then, her ghost has haunted me every night. And this time, I saw it happen all over again. Just when I thought we'd won, Just when I thought everything was over. When I thought I could finally go back home and put everyone's ghosts to rest. When I thought I could rebuild my family that I'd lost. Everything was snatched away. In but a second. Everything we worked for. Chicago killed. Just like my sister. Our hard-won peace completely shattered at my feet. That's when I knew. This time I could not order the Sunrider to fall back. No matter the impossible odds. No matter the strength of the enemy. This time I had to stand my ground. Stare at death's maw with both eyes open. And welcome its embrace. And only then could I be judged worthy of having done my duty. To my world, to my family, to my ship. Stop trying to sound all cool. What good would you have been able to do dead? Sorry. I'm back, everyone. I'm still alive.
Captain.
Sir.
Captain.
Well, Captain, I see that you're still energetic as ever, even after completely destroying the ship. Commander. I'm not joking, Captain. There's still a solid stack of paperwork yet to be completed aboard that ship when it went down. Do not believe for a second this gets you off the hook for all the work that you owe me. Understood. I'll try my best to make amends, sir. Yes. I certainly sympathize with your position, Captain. Shields finally realized Asago was still clinging on to him and decided to detach himself, lest the mood become more awkward. Alright, everyone, break it up. Show's over. Get back to work. We still have a lot of work to do. Ava shooed the pilots and the rest of the surviving crew away to the best of her ability. What's the situation? Following the destruction of Machiavelli Actual and the consequent loss of the tactical Paradox Corps, the Alliance made a hasty retreat out of Syria before the Pact fleet could organize an offensive. The Alliance fleet now holds position at a nearby neutral rim world of Baryon, no doubt prepping a counterattack. Meanwhile, the Pact has responded by consolidating all their forces at Syria. The two sides now stare each other down, waiting for an opportunity to strike. We managed to use the chaos during the retreat to squeeze everyone into 8 life pods and then tow them to safety using our rider squad. As you can see, the situation is dire. It appears we are now once again back to square one. This Pact still retains control of our homeworld, and even worse, we are now without a ship. For now, both the Alliance and Pact believe you're dead. And given our position, I would rather they keep that assumption. I've managed to arrange safe passage on board this cargo runner to Daria, where you will go into hiding. In the meantime, I intend to head to Ruvia Prime with our Queen and see what military assets I can acquire. Me? Yes, that would be you.
But I thought we were all going to stay together.
Our first priority is keep the set captain from being discovered until we get a new ship. And with Pact now consolidating their forces in Syria, Ruvia Prime has never been more open. I've heard interesting things about Ruvia's moon from Alliance Intel. Pray tell me you didn't know anything about it yourself. Look, the artificial moon is just folklore that people spread to remind themselves how great we used to be. People say all sorts of things, like that the moon's actually an enormous battle station with firepower to destroy an entire planet, or that it's actually a portal to another dimension. But my dad told me himself the moon's completely useless. Just another derelict piece of lost technology which doesn't do anything. If it actually had any use, we would have already used it to defend ourselves, right? Maria used to be powerful. Hundreds of years ago, we had ships as powerful as the Sunrider, but today, all we have are little corvettes and frigates, nothing capable of launching riders or fighting Pact. Well then, why was Vizikar Arcadius so intent on conquering Ruvia Prime? During his occupation, Arcadius, or rather, the prototypes, funneled trillions of credits into excavating that moon. That moon holds something, and I intend to discover what it is. Well, I guess it's a lead, even though it's kind of a long shot. While we're investigating Ruvia's moon, one of us should remain with the captain to guard him. Someone with personal combat experience. Then I volunteer to remain with the captain on Tadaria.
Sola?
I should not have ever left him. My aim will not falter in his defense ever again. Can't wait until the goddess makes more jokes. Then someone would have to buy me the 4th game. We need the 4th game for that. But will be coming with me to Ruvia Prime. You can help the captain by preparing a replacement vessel for him. Besides, what good would you be in a fight? Seriously.
Sola, not you too.
Sola leaned into Asaga.
Fear not. I merely seek to apply my marksmanship in defending him from his enemies. I have no intent of any indiscretions. I guess Sola's alright. After all, she's the most cool-headed person I know. I'll definitely come back with the biggest, baddest ship we can find for the captain. After that, it'll be just like old times again. And now, with Chicago gone, I can... Alright, I guessed it's okay. Someone who's good at fighting has to guard the captain, after all.
What about the prototype I brought with me? Are we going to talk about her? Or... Well, in that case,
I'll have to find my old black market contacts. I doubt the mine union's going to help us anymore. What with us completely destroying the Alliance flagship, we're going to need a new source of equipment for what's to come. And mercs. I know where to get them. The black market. Doesn't look like we have a choice. We are essentially fugitives from the law now.
Sir, while we may be of disappointing news, I intend to turn myself into the Alliance.
Eh?
You can't do that. I'll definitely have you tried for treason and hung. No, the Alliance that I believe in is just and fair nation. What the Alliance tried to do at Syria was wrong. I will return it and see what I can do to restore support from the Alliance. Once the truth of what occurred at Syria comes out, I believe the system will vindicate us. There's no way anyone in the Solar Alliance would approve of destroying an entire planet, no matter the circumstances. We still need the Alliance support, or else we'll truly have no hope of ever liberating Syria.
Why, you're being way too naive.
There's no way anyone in the Solar Congress is ever going to admit they tried to collapse an entire neutral ring planet into a black hole. We do not know unless we try first.
Don't cry to me when I have to bust you out of a maximum security Alliance prison.
If the worst really does come to pass, then I'm sure I can count on your expertise.
Seriously, idiot.
Well, then it's settled. Not quite just yet. We have one more thing. Shields reached into the escape pod and pulled Lynn out. Prototype! Captain, what is she? She's the reason I'm still here. She saved me, pulled me from the bridge while I was unconscious and put me inside the escape pod. It's a trick. I already know this is how they operate. They seek to gain our trust.
Prototype. I said we just throw her out the airlock right now. We don't need any of their lies anymore.
Wait, what do you mean? She saved you. I thought the prototypes were our enemies. Shikagura, I think she's still alive. And she's trying to take control of all the prototypes. At least, that's what Lynn seems to be saying. I think Shikagura temporarily took control of Lynn and used her to save me.
No, Captain, don't listen to that nonsense. Besides, Shikagura was a prototype just like the rest of them. And look where believing her got us.
Hey, well, maybe we should still keep her around.
We need to keep tabs on the enemy. Lynn here is our only source of intel. Even if she's one of them, we've got to use everything at our disposal right now. Besides, she's kind of got a big mouth. I'm sure if we keep talking to her, she'll keep spilling the beans. She could be useful as a tool.
In any matter, I do not believe we can perform an execution in here at this moment, but perhaps later at another location. Hey, she did save me. We have a lot we can learn by keeping her here. Very well, Captain. Well then, I believe our little sessions will continue, Prototype. You should thank the Captain's graciousness, especially after everything your friends have done.
Whatever happens, make sure she stays away from the Captain. Even if she's our prisoner, there's no way we can ever trust a Prototype ever again.
Kurosaka grabs a roll of duct tape from the escape pod supply box and tied Lynn's wrist. The other prototypes can still assume control of her. We should still be careful. You heard them, Lynn. Don't try to pull anything. Shields looked out the hollow port. So much had happened, and they were on the verge of defeat. He saw his dirty, exhausted face in the reflection. Was this face still fit to lead them? Ava's face appeared beside his. Captain, despite all this, we will always be by your side. I Ava. I apologize, Captain. Never realized it until I believed I truly lost you. You gave the evacuation order. No, even before that. I'd always wanted to say, for the Battle of Hellion, when you needed me the most, I did not answer your feelings truthfully. Ava, I was overcome with my responsibilities. The burden of my duty to liberate Sierra made me forget the real ties that bind us. I was too strict and stiff. If I ever just answered your feelings truthfully that day, none of this would have ever happened. If I just said what I'd wanted. Ultimately, it was the rift I created between us that day which doomed our mission. The prototypes exploited it, and used it to put a spy inside our ranks. In hindsight, I should have known. A ship where the captain and the XO cannot communicate is doomed to fail. So I want to say this now that I've finally been given a second chance. I have never forgotten the promise we made that night. That we would sail the stars together, Captain and Commander, in the mightiest ship of the Sirius Space Force. Together as one, no matter the impossible odds. Oh, I know, Ava. I always know, and I'm sorry. It's my fault for pushing you away.
Kyoto. Hey, Commander, that's unfair. What about me? I was the one trying to warn you about Chicago the most, remember? If you only listen to me, Captain. Still, my offer stands. Saga de Ruvia, Arist of Justice. At your service, sir. If you need a supervillain taken down, you know who to call. Also comes with the bonus of kissing the maiden in the sunset after everything's over. How about it, Captain? I've always been on your side.
What is this stupid love fest? Can't believe you guys still even like this guy. Just look at him. Totally got backstabbed by his new girlfriend, like literally just days after going out. Totally ruined everything we fought for the past year, and on top of that, completely vaporized our ship. Most unreliable space captain in the history of space captains. Can't believe I like a guy like him. I mean, it's not like I like you or anything. Kyra ran screaming across the cargo bay and hid behind a stack of crates. Captain, I understand we'll not be spending much time together from now. Perhaps we should get closer.
Eh? In the end, even Sola. No way.
You're quite the popular man, Captain. Looks like your life is difficult in more ways than one. No way. Forget defeating Pact and liberating Sierra. At this rate, my real problem might be managing these girls. Just what else could possibly go wrong? Suddenly, sparks blew through the room as a space-time portal ripped open, sending an explosion of wind throughout the room. Stacks of cargo crate fell everywhere. On top of the mess was...
Eh? That sure was a messy entry.
What? That good-for-nothing but fan service, incompetent nympho woman is back? Viscar S. Fortuna stood at the bridge of the assault carrier Vi Victus. So if I didn't blow up the Legion, I think Fortuna gets to keep the Legion throughout these games. So I feel nothing for sinking that bastard. Callie? The fuck's Gabria doing here? Oh shit, it's Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Oh no. Viscar A. Casona entered the bridge, visibly impressed by the numerous upgrades the proud vessel had received since the service of the Compact Revolution. You've grown, boy. Well, welcome back from your exile, Kashana of the many miracles. Our exploits against the new empire still sung in Pact space to this day. I was there myself to witness you dispatch no less than an entire Imperial flotilla in mere moments using nothing but mere destroyers over the sky of Therial. It was truly fortunate that once yourself was exiled by the madwoman Alice. Leaders of your caliber have been sorely lacking in the Pact fleet thus far. Flattery will get you nowhere, Caesar. By my order, your position as the High Admiral of the Crimson Fleet is hereby reinstated. You once held back the Imperial fleets 1,000 strong using nothing more than a dozen of scrap pirate ships. Now that you will defend our lands from the incoming Imperialists, not with obsolete frigates, but with the full might of Pact's industrial base. You were just a boy when Arcadius picked you off the streets of Therial. To think you would now lead what he started.
It's been so many years. Alice's failure was set the moment she set out to lead Pact. She was but a broken, destitute girl when Arcadius met her. Her home destroyed, her entire life in shambles. He took her in, sheltered her, gave her a new life inside Compact, gave her a family. And she fell hopelessly in love with him. Her dreams were to be thwarted. At the very end, Arcadius sought peace with the new empire. He believed that Compact and the Empire could reach reconciliation in order to end the bloodshed, while others within Compact sought a more radical approach. But in the end, it was the angry mob which won. When we took New Eden, the pressure chamber of the furious anger after centuries of brutal oppression burst, and the mods took to the streets, set everything ablaze, raped, pillaged, tore down millennia of history. Alice was there that day, when Arcadius stood before the mobs trying to protect the Emperor. He was cut down, killed, by the very people he sought to liberate. And since that day, Alice lost her mind. In the end, she sought justice for Arcadius, in her own twisted logic, by seeking the complete annihilation of humankind. Very well. If you are to lead the Compact into a new age, free of the madness which Alice brought to our cause, then I will gladly take your fleet. Just know that if you prove unworthy of flying the Crimson Flag, then I will dispose of you myself.
I expect nothing less. The Solar Alliance amasses for a full-scale invasion of Pact space. Now that Liberation Day massacre has occurred, this war will only end in one of two ways. Either we win, or they will kill us all. What must be our next move?
They have assembled their ferrets at Verona, while our forces are still stationed at Syrah. The Alliance has thus far won effectively every battle in the war, but now their brightest military minds have been killed at Syrah. Their fury will be their undoing. They intend to strike Tetharo.
Tetharo? It is deep inside Pact space, merely a few jumps away from New Eden itself.
We've amassed all our ships at Syrah, leaving our interior undefended. The Alliance will seek a target which will deal the most damage to our will. A heavily populated core world like Tethara would be too tantalizing a target if it were to remain completely undefended. They'll perform a risky multi-jump warp from Verona to Tethara and ignore Syrah altogether. Thus far, Grey was wise enough to avoid such high-risk stratagems. With him dead, the Alliance voters wanted blood. Sending messages to our encrypted military channels for all of our ships to amass at Syrah for a final defensive line. Hence will no doubt intercept our messages and believe we intend to remain at Syrah. In the meantime, I shall take my fleet and hide in maximum low orbit behind Terra's moon. When the Alliance fleet warps in, believing we're still at Syrah, that will be the end of their offensive, as their ships will now be trapped deep inside Pact space, with no safe warp back point to retreat. We will hunt them down. We will then hunt down the remaining ships of the combined fleet as they scramble out of our territory, until none remain.
Very well. We shall see if your predictions come to fruition. Emil Kasana. Your stratagems are the stuff of legends. The new Imperials even whispered she was a time traveler who could foresee the future. I know that Kashana has no secret powers, no lost technology aiding her seemingly prophetic predictions. She is merely that good. Kasana took Fortuna's speakerphone and relayed a message to all hands. All hands, I am Vizikar A. Kasana, newly reinstated High Admiral of the Crimson Fleet. Some of you may have heard my name during the Compact Revolution. I am told that during my absence, the men and women of the Monitor's banner shamed our cause with such cowardly tactics as bombing unarmed cities, mistreating prisoners of war, and flying with artificial beings who have never even understood the meaning of sacrifice. Know that as of now, such unbecoming conduct has no place in our fleet. I will reform the lot of you until your sailors are worthy of that red uniform. Through the past years, everything I heard about the new Pact fleet brought nothing but shame and disgust to my heart. We are not villains in this story. We are the proud men and women who fought for freedom, justice, and equality. No longer shall the name Pact bring forth images of despair, violence, and brutality. The entire galaxy detests us now, and for good reason. For we have brought nothing but great suffering to the common folk of the neutral rim and beyond. But soon, the galaxy shall sing songs of our heroism, of our discipline. We will turn the tide of this war, and bring about a new age, where Pact shall no longer be the evil empire, but the liberators. The age of Compact We sought peace instead of violence, freedom instead of blind obedience to demigod. To that, and equality for all beings today. For all begins today. Kashana out. The bridge crew stood and applauded. My brothers and sisters, I may be your admiral, but I am merely a soldier of the Crimson Flag, just like all of you. Together, we will turn the tides of the war back to our favor. Perhaps the old days of the compact revolution can return, and we travel the stars to liberate ourselves from the new empire. Alice is now dead. The fool shield has been removed from the picture as well. The era of Pact has begun. Arcadius. No. Humanity. Pact. Alliance. Shields. Everything burned.
Captain. Chicago is coming for you.
Shields grabbed a supply pack from the life pod and put it on his back. Sola grabbed the enormous scoped rifle from the black case, flipped open a container, and withdrew a curved battle knife which he strapped to her side. They had dropped down to Daria with their life pod. Now, it looked like their plan had worked and nobody had noticed their arrival. For as far as Shields could see, nothing but sand stretched out onto the horizon. While living here was undoubtedly going to be a far cry from the comforts of his loft, the largely uninhabited surface of Tadaria made the perfect place to hide away for a wanted man such as himself. Are you ready?
Yes. Commander has already arranged a hideout a kilo away. Follow me.
Okay. Kyoto spoke as they crossed the seemingly endless desert. It was difficult to believe that these deserts were considered one of Tadaria's more livable areas. Other locales featured nothing more than toxic gases and scorching heat. I still can't believe Claude was alive all this time. You know, if she had a piece of lost technology which could let her teleport out of the Bonka moments before it got hit, she just told us earlier. On top of that, I can't believe she actually made up the medical report about Chicago not being a prototype either. If only she hadn't been such an idiot. I could have known that Chicago was a prototype much earlier. I guess I really shouldn't have counted on a ditz like her to deliver an accurate report.
No. There is a matter I wish to discuss with you, in private, without the other members of the crew.
So is something the matter?
Yes. I come to suspect that there is a great deal of information that our medical chief officer is hiding.
What do you mean?
I believe Claude was actually the one who'd been relaying our movements to the prototypes.
What? Sully, you need to say stuff like this sooner.
No. This matter is far more complicated. I've had a vision where I spoke to Claude. It was like a momentary trance where all my surroundings faded away and I floated in midair. It was as if I was suspended in deep sleep once more, yet I was still in control of my body. During this vision, I learned that our chief medical officer was in fact an ancient Ruvian like myself.
What?
Oh. But she could not have come from my era. She's far more powerful than anything I could have imagined. Indeed, if my suspicions were correct, she may have attained a power far more terrifying than even the mightiest Ruvian empires of the ancient past. The power to bend both space and time. Such powers were beyond even the Ruvians. If such a power had been attained, the Holy Ruvian Empire would never have collapsed. Even if it had, one could easily restore the Empire by simply traveling back in time. The implications of the discovery were too terrifying for me to dare speak. Indeed, I feared if I exposed the truth of her identity, she may simply write me out of existence.
You're telling me Claude's a fucking time traveler?
No, far more than that. If such an entity could be given a name, the closest description of her would be Claude is God.
What?
But not a god that seeks to be worshipped or feared. A god that seeks amusement. An entity which merely desires to watch over the insignificant little mortals at her feet and nudge them around for her laughs.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Shields could hardly believe what he was hearing. The notion that Vizcar S. Arcadius was actually just a petite girl would have been easier to swallow than this. Revelation. That good-for-nothing hack of a doctor, actually a deity. Yet the situation is still more troubling. I believe that the sole reason for Claude joining the crew of the Sunrider was to lead you to me.
What makes you think that? Given the new revelation that I was merely in cold sleep for mere months, there's only one remaining explanation as to how I ended up in this timeline given the circumstantial evidence at hand. I, too, am a time travel, albeit an unintentional one. I must have been warped forward in time 2,000 years, just moments before the activation of the Sharlock's final tear. That would explain why I survived the certain death that the final tear would have caused. Claude has come to return me to my own timeline, so that this timeline can be fixed. Already my existence in the universe has begun to dramatically change the course of the galaxy's history. If I were to remain here, surely the entire fate of the universe may be at stake.
Well, slow down, Solo. I'm not quite following. What is you doing here? What does you being here mean? Why does you being here mean the universe is doomed?
My arrival here has already changed the course of this universe's history. If the timeline were to deviate any further, I fear that an irreparable time paradox could occur. I am effectively a rogue agent that should not exist in this universe. If I am to accidentally cause an event which would otherwise be impossible in the original timeline, then the entire space-time continuum could very well collapse.
How many times you've basically won me fights? I think we've already reached that point.
Put it another way, if my existence changes the timeline so majorly as to alter the course of history, this entire universe will simply collapse. I am a threat more dire to this universe than either Pact or the prototypes. One which must be removed.
No, I'm not going to let that happen. You're one of us now. Shields gripped Solo's shoulder. From what you told me about your timeline, if you were to go back to it, you'd just be used as a pawn again. No, worse, you'll just be killed right away. Said it yourself, right? Time worked just seconds before the final terror burst. If you go back now, you'll just be dead. There's no chance in hell I'll let that happen. Not on my watch.
Captain, you mustn't say such things, or else...
I swear, I'll protect you, Solo. Universal time paradoxes can be damned.
Yes, Captain. Now, please.
Shields realized he was inched away from Solo's face. He embarrassingly took his grip off her. The two continued walking towards the hideout. Shields broke the now awkward silence. You mentioned the time paradox, but you've been with us here for about a year now, and it looks like the universe is still working out just fine. And Claude seems like she's just observing the situation. Maybe there's still a way out of this without you returning to your timeline.
Yes, there's a hope for the best, while preparing my heart for the alternative.
Another new problem, huh? For now, with both of us hidden away from on this remote planet, so we won't be able to alter the timeline. Maybe that's part of the reason why she decided to come here as well. As long as we're here, I don't have to worry about the timeline collapsing. Anyways, for now, let's just leave the time paradox stuff alone. We'll deal with it once we have a ship again, and when I can confront Claude about all this.
Understood, Captain. To my relief, it appears that I'm the only person from my timeline who is transported into this universe. I can only fear what situation would be if the time displacement affected other individuals from my time.
So, by the way, what's this hideout that Ava's got prepped for us anyways?
It appears to be a small cabin built by the mining union, which was abandoned decades past when the nearby rocks failed to yield any ore. We'll be residing together in the meantime, until the commander and Asaga return from Ruvia Prime.
Oh, okay. Wait, living together?
Yes.
What? Ava, you didn't mention this. Shields and Solo finally spotted the cabin, and Solo had stayed, the small steel structure appeared long ago and was thoroughly covered with sand and dust. Shields looked at his new temporary home. He was now a fugitive from society, a space captain without a ship. His crew now scattered through the galaxy, desperately trying to restore what they had lost. One day they would all be reunited. But for now, the road ahead appeared dark. They were defeated, but not yet out. He gritted his teeth. Too many lives had been lost for him to surrender now. His crew had entrusted their lives to him, Despite letting everyone down, he still had everyone's support. He had to carry on, no matter the weight on his shoulders. He looked to the distance of Soma. There to below from this point on. His losses had been grave. His wounds went beyond the physical, but he was still alive to fight another day. As long as he had but a sliver of strength left in him, he would keep trying to restore what was lost. Despite all they had worked for, the prototypes had managed to thwart them. Their mission was vast. Their efforts were even mightier. They had gotten close to winning. In the last month, the enemy had one last trick up their sleeve and snatched victory away. Because of that, Chicago, she was still alive. Shields knew. He would see her again. From the ashes of this defeat, they would all be reborn. Deep inside of him, he knew the Sunrider will be reborn. Oh, from death, all will be reborn. However, it's not over yet, Chad. It's not over yet. Well, also there's an after credit scene, but it's not over yet. Deep within the Menosan abyss, a mammoth super dreadnought of unknown origins emerged from warp space. My liege, the time portal did not work as anticipated. Instead of being transported to before the battle, we were flung 2,000 years into the future instead. Further, it appears the Faria bitch was also caught in the temporal blast and flung this timeline as well. Unknown interlopers have destroyed the time device, and thus we cannot anticipate returning to our own timeline. Fool! I beg your forgiveness, my Lord Crow. The denizens of this universe appear to be nothing more than primitives. Surely, my lord can expect an easy subjugation. I expect to easily subjugate them for his ends. Very well. If I am to be robbed of my victory against the Faria lowbloods, then I shall rebuild our glorious empire here, to the denizens of this strange new land. Prepare for the rebirth of the Holy Empire. God damn it, Sola, you had to open your mouth. No covenant. You had to open your mouth. But yet, chat, it's not over yet. I mean, now that time travel's been introduced, what do you suppose would happen, chat? Hypothetically, right? It's a purely a hypothetical. Well, if Shields could go back in time before the massacre, how do you think that would play out? An alternate universe, retelling of the main story where Kyoto Shields mysteriously wakes up 3 days before the Liberation Day massacre, somehow aware of who will betray him. Armed with the knowledge of the future, he embarks on a desperate race against time to change the bleak future. But will he successfully rewrite the past? Or will his story end with his bloody death? Purely a hypothetical. From the moment humanity began to unravel the mysteries of quantum theory, scientists and emperors alike became obsessed with singular technology. During the research of this Holy Grail, countless other findings which would come to greatly aid and terrorize humanity were discovered. The warp drive, warheads which could level entire continents, faster than light communications, even a massive doomsday weapon which could extinguish entire stars. The paradox core. But all those powers were irrelevant next to what would be possible within the Holy Grail, the time machine. In its most simple application, fucking time travel. We gotta go back to the past. One could undo past mistakes. If an action ended up causing an adverse reaction later in time, one could simply travel to before when the action was made and react differently, with the benefit of hindsight. The full implications of such a device were still far more awesome. One could stop aging, freeze time for everyone else but oneself, and perform an unlimited number of actions while everyone else was frozen. Translocate other people and objects anywhere at any time. Become older, become younger, give an infinite amount of time, and one could become anyone and accomplish anything. By no exaggeration, someone with a time machine would not be human, but a god. Alice Ashada pondered those thoughts as she walked through the Dido cloning facility. Her steps took her to a familiar location, her old office. So even this detail has been recreated exactly as before. It was here, where the merest sliver of a second, she brushed her fingers against that almighty power. The Paradox Project. The galaxy's greatest and most dangerous minds had gathered here, in the furthest corners of the galaxy, to finally attain what had eluded humanity for so long. They were exiled Alliance researchers and new Imperial scientists, deemed too dangerous even for the tyrants of New Eden. But attempt after attempt, year after year, they all failed to produce results. Complications done through their best supercomputers and artificial intelligences failed to yield breakthroughs. It was then that they realized such knowledge was beyond the comprehension of mere humans. They needed to create a new race, capable of thought process far beyond the capacity of even the most gifted of Homo sapiens. First, a prototype was created, Alice Ashada. They watched her, raised her as one of their own, even gave her the surname of the director of the Paradox Project, who assumed the role of her father. But it was all a lie. Humans created me for their own ends, and tossed me away the moment I fulfilled my use. The prototype produced some promising results, accomplishing what supercomputers and the galaxy's best minds could not. Alice successfully translocate molecules by fractions of a second, a breakthrough produced even before the artificial girl had turned 16. Using the lessons learned from the prototype, the Alpha was finally created. Alice's teeth clenched. Those scum created my sister and I, just so we could be tools in their search to become gods. But I stopped their plans and saved both of us. The prototype proved far more difficult to control than her creators believed. She actually discovered the truth of her existence. Her belief that she was a normal human girl who lived with her caring parents in a research station was shattered that day. The first of many pieces of her sanity which would break following them. Yes, I was here when I struck down my father with my very hands. What else could I do? I was merely a test run. They were going to toss me away like an obsolete machine. I had no choice. I was going to rescue my sister and escape this prison. But Alice's life did not have such a happy conclusion. My sister. Alpha's voice disturbed Alice. Her younger sister approached her. Alpha touched Alice's eye with her index finger. A single drop of a tear ran down her finger as she wiped Alice's eyes. Your thoughts, they are bleak. Alice turned around, putting her back to her sister. She closed off her mind so her younger sister would not see the depths of her madness. Why do you retreat to the abyss so? Soon we shall control all of humanity under our grasp. We shall rule those who sought to control us. Our spy continues to make great inroads into controlling the would-be savior of humanity, the mighty Captain Shields. If he continues to follow our plan, then both the Alliance and Pact will unify, and when the Ebon fleet arrives, we will rally the galaxy against humanity's greatest threat. As a result of that conflict, he will become not merely a captain, but something far more powerful. And from his greatest love, our proxy controlling him, we will rule the galaxy from the shadows, constantly leading him down the path we desire. Such is our destiny now. We were created to be greater than them. No. Human filth. Savages. The galaxy would be better if every last trace of them were wiped from existence. Suddenly Alpha embraced her sister from behind. It will not be long, my sister. You have suffered, but I seek to create a universe where we can finally be safe. Yes, a galaxy where we can be safe. Alice stiffly touched her sister's hand. I will go create that. This is the only way. My sister is yet naive. She does not understand the threat the humans pose. Alice took her sister's arms off her and walked away by herself. I will return to the front lines, and I'm taking that with me. That accursed machine. I will need her for what is to come. Be safe, my sister. I shall return, and when I do, the galaxy shall have changed. With that, Alice's shadow walked into the shadows. Shields tossed and turned in his sleep. Vivid images flashed in his mind. This was different from the other nightmares. Ones he would have of blood-faced soaks of Onigas, where the young girl would die again and again. He would see her pick up the knife every